I'll say this real quick before we actually start taping. I may have put on the opening for Signs as soon as I got home last night. Because the music score, I thought the music was really good in Knock at the Cabin, but Signs still takes the cake. Welcome to Was It Good, the podcast that reviews movies and TV shows. Today we're taking a look at M. Night's newest film, Knock at the Cabin. Spoilers ahead. I'm Ravi, joined by my two brothers,
Arjuna
and Krishna.
And we're joined with our producer, Michael, as well.
That's me.
Oh.
I need a mic.
That works. I mean, it works. It works. It's fine. We're all casual here. We're in sweats, for fuck's sake.
That's true.
I'm in pajama bottoms.
Was there ever a time where we dress, not professionally, but I don't know, not in your sweatpants and gym shorts?
Yeah, the turtleneck and blazer episode.
Didn't you want to do that for this episode?
I did, and then I didn't.
We should do it for our next episode because that's 250.
Ooh.
I mean, we could. I mean, our next episode is most likely going to be Ant-Man.
And the Wasp, Quantumania.
Exactly.
World premiere is this Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, 2/5.
That's great. Wait, isn't the
Are
Grammys
you
also
going to
Sunday?
go to the red carpet? Like, why'd you pull that out?
Oh, I just know. I'm not going.
Oh.
I just know it.
That's because Arjuna's our man in the know.
I'm in the know.
Apparently.
Call me the No Man.
No Man. Speaking of No Man, how about Knock at the Cabin?
Oh, my.
Interesting title.
Well, there is a knock at the cabin. That's,
Well, sure,
that's
but
the premise of the movie.
wouldn't it be like knocking?
No.
Because it's more than one. A knock signifies like one single one, and Dave was kind of just knocking profusely on
But
the
you
door.
could also say, spoiler alert to those who haven't seen the movie, all the dead bodies hitting the floor in the cabin, there's a knock. their body hits.
But again, though, that's multiple bodies hitting
Yeah.
the floor.
Yeah, but each one is an individual knock.
Now this movie is based on a book, which is
Cabin at the End of the World,
right.
I believe.
Oh.
Cabin at the End of the World, and then they changed it to Knock at the Cabin. Interesting.
Well, M. Night
Difference.
co-wrote the screenplay. I think he writes most of his screenplays.
He does.
He also wrote Stuart Little.
He did.
Fun fact. Yeah.
He also directed Avatar.
That's also true.
Is it called Avatar: The Way of Water?
The Last
The
Airbender.
Last Airbender.
Or what? I don't know. The Way of Water is a stupid Avatar movie. Wow.
Is Avatar too. Yeah.
There's too many Avatar films, is what I'm trying to say.
I think James Cameron and M. Night Shyamalan should team up to direct their own Avatar movie, like a crossover event. You know, I had a dream, real quick. We're on a tangent. I had a dream, actually, about James Cameron's Avatar movies. And in the dream, it was like, despite the sequel making $2.1 billion, the studio has decided to take everything they filmed and make it into one final third movie. I was like, what? It was weird.
I mean, I could actually, depending on who comes into like head of like a studio, whatever, you could definitely see weird shit like that happening. Like,
I mean, he said, man, the first two movies in the franchise have made over $2 billion. I
sure,
think he
but
could do as many sequels as he wants.
sure, but like, let's say he butts heads with like the studio execs, or
That's true.
somebody says he's difficult to work with, or he pisses off the wrong person. Regardless of how much money you bring into a studio, and we've seen it before, people will remove people, cancel beautiful, amazing shows like 1899.
Ugh. Are we talking about James Cameron not making movies because he
Annoyed
pissed somebody off?
I mean, this is a hypothetical.
Hypothetically,
Yeah,
you don't think his name and he would have like 1 million offers within 3 minutes of getting fired from that studio.
What if James Cameron got fired from the movie and they brought in M. Night Shyamalan to finish Avatar?
It could only go up from there.
What? I don't think so.
Well, the way I look at I don't know why we're talking Avatar here, but the way the Avatar films are right now, it's a plateau, right? It can't get worse, can't get better. It's just a fucking plateau, and that's that.
I mean, the studio execs will say we have
Real
two
quick,
movies
I'm sorry.
that
If,
made $2 billion.
if people want to hear our thoughts on Avatar: The Way of Water, it's a previous podcast. You can find it wherever you find your podcasts.
Synergy.
Anyway, let's get back into Knock at the Goddamn Cabin. Let's start off with one-word impressions.
Nice.
How would each of you review the movie in a word?
Can I go first?
No, Christian can.
Damn.
Okay. Hopefully, I'm not stealing anyone's, but mine. And I was talking to Ravi about this when we were playing Chivalry 2 on the PlayStation 5 last night.
We're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored, but you gotta try. My one word impression is science, because the movie, especially the sound design, and then the situation in the beginning with all the knocking in the house, felt like an ode to science. When they're trying to get into the house, I couldn't help but think of the scene in Science when the aliens are trying to get in, and there are all these sounds coming from the basement, from the outside. They're boarding up the house. They're putting the couch in front of the doors. They're locking the windows. It was very Science-esque. And Science is probably my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie, so it's a good thing. So yeah, Science.
I like it. It's a good one.
Ravi, what's your one word impression?
Mine is going to be a little bit abstract.
Oh boy.
So buckle up. You guys ready?
Is it
Yes.
what I think it is?
Fruitcake.
What the fuck?
I'm going
I'm
with
so
fruitcake because there's a term out there where there's actually a subreddit. It's religious fruitcake. The idea of kind of like taking religion a little bit too extreme, taking it and looking at certain things through a very particular viewpoint, and kind of taking all what's the word I'm looking for? Taking all kind of like common sense and just kind of removing it and just kind of staying on this path. And you have these four characters, the intruders, that come in, and they are very kind of, set on this is what we have to do. They're not ever kind of breaking away from their path, regardless of these visions, regardless of the fact that they do have kind of a hive mind thing going where they're feeding into each other's kind of paranoia and everything. So I use it kind of, as a description for them, but then also like kind of as a description for the entire movie. When you think of a fruitcake, or at least when I think of a fruitcake, I look at it and I'm like, wow, it's supposed to be this like really delicate, moist thing, like very full of moisture and because you have all this like delicious fruit and everything. But usually 9 times out of 10, it's the driest, dry, starchy, just heavy, dense thing that, you walk away, and after you've eaten a slice of it, you don't feel, oh, that was nice and fluffy and joyous. You're like, oh, that was intense, and I'm tired. So, fruitcake.
I want to just tell the audience a little bit. Before we entered the movie, Ravi sent me a text and said, I am expecting this to be the greatest movie of 2023.
Oh my goodness.
So your one word impression should have been expectations, because you
Probably.
set your expectations.
I think
above
there's
the
one. There's one other thing we should mention about Ravi's viewing experience. It was his second movie of the day.
Yeah. Was my second.
So the fact that you walked out tired and lethargic, is because you spent 5 hours in a movie theater.
Yes, that's very true. So I have like a fitness tracker thing, and it was like I was in the red for yesterday because it was like you were very inactive. It's like, yes, if you sit in a theater for 5 hours, roughly, yes, that will probably say you're
It's
inactive.
not great.
Yeah, I still like mine, fruitcake.
Fruitcake.
Yeah. By the way,
Fruitcake.
fun thing, I have a whole fruitcake in the fridge. If either anyone here would like some fruitcake.
Put some Nutella on top
Is
of
that
it.
Dad's
You'll eat
fruitcake?
it.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm gonna see if he'll take it. He'll probably take it tomorrow. Actually, I also do have a jar of Nutella now that I think about it as well.
Boom. Combine them and you'll finish it. No time.
It's true.
Let's hear Juna's one-word impression.
I have 2.
No, you can't only have one.
Oh, well, I'm gonna
It's
pull
literally
the,
called
I'm gonna
one
pull
word
the room
impression.
here. A or C?
What?
That's what I'm asking everyone. A or C? Pick one.
Those are your 2 words?
Pick one. No, I'm asking everyone to pick A or C.
Letter?
Yes.
C.
C.
A.
All the majority rules. So C. I'm gonna go with my C word, which is chicken.
Why chicken?
So in the movie, M. Night Shyamalan always loves to cameo.
There you go.
And
Yep.
his cameo here was he was on an infomercial selling some type of fryer, and it was talking about chicken.
Mhm.
And he's like, "This is the best fried chicken you've ever had
Without the oil.
without the oil, right? Like
Yeah.
it's some type of air fryer type of thing." And he really was like really going on about the chicken, and for some reason, it really stuck with me. And it makes me feel like maybe M. Night, if he had never become a director, would have been like a chicken salesman.
Or at the very least, like an infomercial.
An infomercial
person. Yeah.
Maybe like that was his like second passion.
His backup.
Wait, hold on. Let's get a little deeper here with this. Maybe you're onto something.
Yeah.
Like, think about this for a second. Go back and look at all of his movies. They all are pushing like a certain theme, right? This movie, I think, definitely is pushing the idea of what belief and
Coincidence versus
and all that.
fate.
And like his movies I would argue his movies are like infomercials. He's pushing a singular thought or thing. He's trying to sell you on something, right? Like Signs are definitely about the idea of like belief, family, and all that fun crap. Yeah. M. Night is a salesman.
So our sentence is chicken fruitcake signs.
Next time I'm picking either of you up from the airport, which rarely happens, I'm going to make a sign that just says chicken fruitcake.
Ravi, you pick me up from the airport all the time.
Oh, next time you come in, you're getting a chicken fruitcake side.
No, just actually make him a chicken fruitcake.
Oh, that sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog.
Chicken's another one of those things that can be moist, but then oftentimes is dry.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of things that could fall into that category.
Like my humor.
Even ice cream.
How
Your
could
humor.
explain to me how not humor. How could ice cream
If it's too cold in the middle, it's like it's not dry, but you know how it can like stick on your tongue.
No.
Oh.
You never had like ice cream that's too cold that's like it's like freezer burned almost, and like it almost like it's like an ice cube that's like too cold, and if you put your tongue on it, it gets stuck. Right? You can get that with some ice cream sometimes.
I think you're ice creaming wrong.
I'm not. I'm just saying I've eaten enough ice cream in my life to try all types of ice cream.
How much ice
You've
cream have you eaten in your
clearly
life, Arjuna?
Eating the wrong
Probably
kinds of ice
7.8
cream.
pounds a day,
What the fuck?
give or take.
My
7.8 pounds.
Well, you're in
God.
fantastic shape if that's true.
I did have ice cream after this movie.
Did you really? Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah. What flavor did you get?
I got
I don't
a
care.
cake batter ice cream that had
Oh, that's a good one.
Oreos, the chocolate Oreos and the white Oreos mixed in.
Ooh.
Cold Stone, right?
Yeah, they call it.
Cold Stone Creamer.
It's like cookies and batter is what they call
Shout
it.
out to Burbank 16th, like the perfect setup in that area.
There's so many great restaurants and stuff around there.
Plus, there's the Batman statue, and supposedly James Gunn is going to explain to us why it's there.
Speaking of James Gunn, he's referenced in my DVD chapter listing.
Wow, you're just trying to push this pot along. I hear what you're doing.
He's got
I see
somewhere
what you're
to
doing.
It was a natural transition.
I see what's going on. You got somewhere to be?
No.
All right. We'll do Arjuna's DVD chapter listing. And as always, Christian is going to read it, and he's going to read it in a character voice. In the character
Oh.
of Dave Bautista's Leonard.
How the fuck?
It's either that, or actually, I'll give you options. You can either do that, or you could do Rupert Grant's terrible Boston accent.
Rupert Grint.
Grant,
Oh,
whatever.
goodness.
Yeah,
They're both
I was
so-
shocked. He's like, I'm from Boston. It's like,
Well, you guys have
What?
Side thing. You guys haven't ever seen an episode of Servant.
I've Severance.
I've seen
Servant.
the
Servant.
first
Yeah.
I've seen a couple
episodes.
when you used to watch it at Curse.
So he has like a terrible Philly accent in that one
why does he keep playing American characters?
because they're funny.
maybe he's running away from something.
Maybe. Oh yeah, a specific role.
Real quick on
Actually-
Rupert Grint. There's a funny show. I think it was on Netflix, a British comedy where he like fakes having cancer to get all this sympathy, and then he finds out, or he thinks he gets cancer, and then he finds out he doesn't have it, but he keeps lying that he does to get like sympathy, and people start treating him better. His girlfriend like gets back with him, and like all this stuff. It's really funny. That's him with a British accent. You know, his natural native.
So
tongue.
Rupert Grint, when he plays a British person, is better than when he plays an American person.
I mean, in this movie, he plays a drunk.
I thought he did a
Dig
great
it.
job. He seemed
Yeah.
like a very angry redhead, and that's what he. His name was Redmayne, or his
Redmond.
nickname.
Redmond.
There we go.
Or was it, but that was his fake name. His real name was O'Brien or O'Brien.
O'Bannon,
O'Bannon.
O'Bannon.
Nick O'Bannon, or something.
Yeah.
Not Nick O'Cannon. Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon.
Wow, it sounds
Not
like this
that guy.
movie had a lot to it that I don't know about yet.
Mysterious.
I'm realizing I have no idea what it's about.
It's about a knock at the cabin.
It's about a knock
I
at
know.
the cabin.
I know there are bodies that hit the floor in the cabin. Those are the knock. And I know that Rupert plays a bad Bostonian with a different name than he says he has.
Yep.
He's a bigot, though.
The
He's
movie's
not
kind of
Harry
been ruined
Potter.
for you. No.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Wait, Christian, those are your two options for voices for our Junior's DVD chapter listing.
I'll go with Leonard, but it's going to be ridiculous and not sound like Leonard at all.
Nice.
It's actually pretty easy to do. Just
You do it. Let me hear you.
pretend like your chest is pretend like something's pressing on your chest. Hey guys, we are really sorry about what I have to do.
That's not really it.
I mean, I'm not a voice actor. Fuck
Yeah, I mean, I'm not either, but I keep getting saddled with this assignment.
you. Yeah, sucks to suck.
Yeah. All right. Our Junior's DVD chapter listing for Knock at the Cabin. Patience, young grasshopper. Aggressive sales tactics. Dave Bautista's stand-up routine. Oscar Isaac is coming. Ron Weasley and the worst Boston accent ever.
That's good.
Run when run. Say that 5 times fast. One last breakfast. Gun. James Gunn. Why? Oh man.
Because there's a gun.
I know. But Jesus. Drax gets one last moment with his favorite knife. Ooh.
Jesus.
Only you can prevent a forest. Boogie shoes.
You know, I realized I missed actually a better opportunity for that Drax one. I should have done finger to the throat means death. Because that's from Guardians.
That would have been.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, honestly, well done. That might be your best DVD chapter listing.
The only one I'm confused is the Oscar Isaac.
Oscar
is
He
Yeah,
plays
coming.
Apocalypse. It's the Apocalypse.
Oh.
Wait,
I was gonna make-
Apocalypse is coming.
Yeah, I made that joke. I was going to talk about that actually.
Wait, the apocalypse is coming? Oscar Isaac?
So
He plays Apocalypse.
so remember
blind
And it's the Apocalypse.
this is
that
the
is coming.
apocalypse.
That's a
and
deep
that,
cut.
Yeah, and he has like the 4 horsemen.
Yeah.
Though someone was telling me that
all my children.
these people, the intruders, aren't really the actual 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Now I'm not updated on any of the apocalypse.
They
stuff.
represent. I mean, so we don't know exactly what they are, but they, at least in Eric's, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
One of the dads. In his viewpoint, that's what they represented, is the 4 horsemen.
Yeah,
So,
Eric.
whether they actually are or not is kind of irrelevant. It's just to
They
that
look at
character,
ambiguous. It's like,
that's
is
what
he actually having
that's what they
visions,
represent.
or is he just suffering from the,
severe concussion? Yeah.
the consequences of his concussion?
Consequences.
What are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse?
Horsey, pony, unicorny, and
Dinosaur.
Ponyta.
I mean, so in this movie, they put it as like malice, nurturing, guidance, and I forget the
Healing?
stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah, healing.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's what they said in
Oh,
this
I don't
movie.
know.
I've never heard those as the 4. It's normally what? War, pestilence, famine, and death.
Which
And
I guess
those things-
those were the things like so as each of them died, a plague or something terrible would happen, and the first one was like the waters and earthquakes rising to wash away.
When Malice died.
When Malice died, when
Nurturing.
Nurturing.
died, that's when the plague happened, like the massive infection of some kind of COVID-esque type disease.
And then healing.
Healing
when she
dies.
That's the planes.
The skies will fall like glass, and saw the planes just falling out of the air. So I'm never getting on a plane again. Thanks, M. Night.
That was fucking horrible.
And then when Dave Bautista's character goes, and he's
The lightning.
guidance.
Guidance, right?
Guidance.
That's when the
lightning
lightning and fire everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds
So-
intense.
It was
Yeah.
it was a very intense movie.
pretty great.
I was definitely like
Fruitcake.
I was
I enjoyed
definitely like cupped my ears for like the last half hour.
Really?
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I smiled because I was like,
Say what you will about this. This movie had great tension throughout, and it's funny because before this movie, Arjuna, I think, saw some reviews saying that M. Night is back. I'm not ready to go there yet, but I will say that this movie probably since Split had the most consistent, best pacing of tension in an M. Night movie since probably Split, I would say.
No, what's nice is like, pacing wise and tension wise, it starts off pretty intense. creepy guy comes and starts talking to a child. That's always
Yeah.
just an uncomfortable situation. And then it immediately goes into the action, what we've seen from the trailers, where these 4 people are breaking in and then tying them up. It's a little bit lighthearted to kind of like break everyone's ease.
Just a little fun home
Little
invasion.
fun home invasion.
There's a lot of quips in the first
the
20
little
minutes.
zany, the little zaniness of the 4 characters.
And then
They're
it's
like, oh, they're trying to fix up the place after they break in, And Leonard's like this 2nd grade school teacher. He's like, okay, wait,
We're going to watch this little animated movie.
yeah, we're gonna watch this show to put everyone at ease.
And then it's just consistently intense until the very, very end.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. This is like one of his smaller movies. It all takes place at the cabin, minus a few flashbacks. But it's a very intimate movie, which he hasn't. I guess Old was also somewhat intimate. It all takes place really on that beach.
Have you seen it?
I did see Old.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It's not his worst movie.
What's his worst, in your opinion?
After Earth, of the ones I've seen.
Oh, yeah, that one. I forgot about that.
Wait, M. Night
Oh,
Shyamalan
but-
did After Earth?
Yeah, but it should be said that Arjuna has not seen The Happening.
I haven't seen The Happening, and I haven't seen his Avatar.
You've never seen The Happening?
No,
Or
you guys told me
pretty
not
bad.
to see it specifically.
Oh, I take that back. Go see it. It's so
go see
bad.
it.
It's
And
good.
then tell us how you enjoy it.
After Earth of the ones I've seen is bad, and that feels like that area because right around there is The Happening and Avatar. That seems like his career low point. Just
I think that was when he was going through a divorce with creativity.
Jesus. I was like, oh, I didn't know he was divorced. That's awkward.
it's great.
Tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His daughter is apparently a singer.
She's also a director.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his other daughter. He has a few
oh,
daughters.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Successful
Wow.
family business.
Speaking of him, so M. Night has done something that I think is very unique for a director in Hollywood, and that is he has created a style that pop culture mimics and makes fun of, and it's there, right? The M. Night Shyamalan twist, right? All of his movies are...
The Shyamalan.
What is the twist? What is the M. Night twist? Like Sixth Sense, oh, Bruce Willis is dead the whole time. Am I just going to list off all of his movies and spoil them for you? No, I won't do
Yeah,
that.
damn right I will.
But, looking at this movie and going back to earlier where, I texted like, this will be the greatest movie of 2023. I knew it wasn't going to be, but I did want this movie to
Blow
go
your
back
mind.
to old M. Night stuff where there is something of like a twist. Just because like I'm a fan of The Village. I thought that was a really interesting movie and that twist and that reveal I thought was actually super, super cool.
Also, just like change the genre of the movie halfway through, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you think Joaquin Phoenix is the protagonist for the whole thing, and like you think this is a horror movie, but like actually it's this like drama, and it's Bryce Dallas Howard. Like,
Oh yeah,
all along.
yeah.
You know, that's like that was like a huge creative risk, and people didn't like it. When it came out, and
Yeah.
it kind of that was his first like negged
thing.
type of movie. So yeah.
But yeah, I was hoping to get like a bigger twist. I mean, I guess do you guys see this film as having a twist? Do you think the twist is that there is no twist and that everything that is being said is actually
I think that is the twist.
Legit?
I think the twist is like it's happening.
Oh no.
But
boy.
but like these crazy people who are coming in and saying this apocalypse is happening and everything that they're saying is actually true.
right?
Like I think the twist in of itself is it's not the traditional M. Night twist. It is like, oh, everything that's happened is at face value.
So for I was telling this to Krishner is I think it would have worked better if there was more, kind of shifting with like the audience's perspective on what's real, what's not real. Like they sort of did it where it's like, they realized that they had met on a message board. So suddenly now the narrative is, we all had these visions, then we just met on the Broadwalk. And then suddenly it was, well, actually, no, we spoke on a message board and somebody suggested to me on the Broadwalk. I wish they had played more into that. And then also like the Rupert character, Redmond, being a part of their lives previously, right? And there was a whole idea of like we being targeted.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there was more with that.
That's the biggest fumble of the movie.
Yeah.
The reveal of Redmond being the attacker of
Andrew.
Andrew, in the past in Massachusetts is a departure from the book. It's never confirmed, I believe, from what I read, that it's the same guy. But that should have been played up more. I think they just moved past it too quickly and confirmed that this stuff was happening instead of like playing into the fact that like maybe it is happening, maybe it isn't happening. And I wonder
they really are a suicide cult.
Yeah, and I wonder if there was like more that was cut out or something, right, within this movie. I don't know.
Because it was a tight like 90 minutes. Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was more to that. I wonder if we're gonna get like a director's cut.
No,
a 2-hour director's cut that
never
plays that stuff up.
I think M. Night has like pretty good creativity control over his movies with the studios. So I feel like this is the movie he wanted to put out. I've never heard otherwise, at least from him, being like, this isn't the movie I wanted. I know he's talked about like marketing before and hasn't been happy with marketing before for some of his movies. But
so speaking of marketing with this movie, I think the other thing that kind of annoys me with it is the second trailer for this movie gives way too much away. Yeah. That first trailer was perfect. It was great because it didn't show like the second trailer shows you the tsunami, some planes falling out of the sky, and all of that crap. And that's annoying because if you go strictly off of the first trailer into this movie, not knowing or not having seen those scenes, you definitely don't know what's about to happen, what's about to come, and it will help play on the idea of like, are they a suicide cult and are they just crazy, or is this legit actually happening?
I think the other thing to play into is like, is it all coincidence or is it all like fate?
Right.
Like, did I keep forgetting their names.
Leonard?
No, did like Eric's sacrifice at the end actually cause everything to stop, or would that have happened anyway? Right? Because you don't know. Like I think they play into this whole theme of like, this is all, and Andrew continues to talk about that in the movie. It's like this is all would have happened anyway,
right?
And
like
Leonard,
the earthquakes in the beginning,
and Leonard even like said like the apocalypse was starting long before we came here, right? Like with the flu and everything, like that stuff was happening. But I think that is interesting. I kind of wish they played that a little bit more, where it's a little more ambiguous. I think they played it a little bit just like, yep, his sacrifice was the thing that stopped it. But I wish it was a little bit more of that M. Night ambiguity, you know? I was even expecting something in the final shot of like, has all of this stopped, or like, is this like actually the thing that stopped it, or did it like stop naturally? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish there was a little bit more. That's what I've liked about M. Night's movies, is more ambiguity sometimes. And this one was probably the most like
in your face,
hard cut, like
straightforward.
This is what happened in the movie type of thing.
I mean, it sounds like, having not seen it, that whenever they kill one of them, a disaster happens, and then one of them dies, and they all stop. But I don't understand where the ambiguity is.
They play into the only way they know these things are happening is they play it on TV, right? And so like they kind of play into the idea of, they could have played in the idea of this is pre-recorded, or this is timed, or something like that, or
and there was a little bit
been
of
something. Right, there was a little bit. But they didn't like they kind of played it just like only Andrew questioned it briefly, but everybody else kind of took it as fact, and then it was just kind of fact.
Can we also talk about, it's a cabin in the middle of nowhere, no cell service
in New Jersey.
Are we truly going to believe that TV they were just viewing coaxial cable?
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
Like,
and I wish they played more into that as well.
Like that, that part, like, do you know how difficult it is to get cable out to the middle of fucking nowhere? Like, that is usually a couple thousands worth of dollars of, investment out of your own money. Like, that part seemed a little kind of weird to me, where they've got a TV that they're able to connect to, like, news and stuff.
They do have the phone line that they said they cut.
That's true, I guess.
I had DirecTV growing up in the middle of nowhere. I had hundreds of channels.
Not sponsored by DirecTV.
Well, I'm just saying, is it possible that they had...
It's possible. It's definitely possible. It's just, I don't know. I mean, in an age where cable is becoming more of a rare type of thing.
I assume they had
cell
streaming.
service. Well, if they had streaming, though, you needed some kind of
internet signal,
internet connection or whatever. usually both come hand in hand.
Well, remember though, this is a rental property, so
we could look it up on Airbnb and figure this out for ourselves. Got it.
Yeah, there you go. But most rental the point there is most rental properties will invest in the entertainment, right? Because it's more alluring. So it's like, well, yeah, no, you get cable with your TV. It's like a selling point.
The reason I assumed it was streaming or like on demand or some type of you can pull things up not on a linear model was because Leonard asks what her favorite movie is, and then they're watching it, right? Like,
right.
That's the thing he puts on.
But wouldn't that like if it's a streaming thing? To I think Andrew was saying it like Leonard's consistently checking his watch,
right,
to know when certain programs are on, like,
right,
you know,
which they say are from their visions,
right. I mean, he does obviously. He has that part where he actually like talks and says the exact same thing as the news reporter.
Right.
But, I mean, again, interesting.
Is it, when you're watching it, a question, do they set it up like a question of are they right? Or
somewhat?
Not? Or is it always like, one of you
it's-
has to die, and that's a for sure thing?
I think it's a little clumsy in terms of how it presents it. Like, I do think they do a good job of they do like Leonard asks him at different points, is like, will you make the sacrifice? And then they say no, and then they do this kind of ritualistic sacrifice murder of one of them, which is pretty brutal and like intense. They don't show it. Was the movie rated PG-13 or R?
PG-13.
So they don't actually show their like heads get bashed in or a gratuitous amount of blood or anything like that. But I just feel like there was a bit of a missed opportunity there to.
But you wanted to see more grotesque?
No, not the grotesque part, but just like for some of the ambiguity to question some of the stuff. Like Andrew was the main focal point of really questioning stuff, right? Like he was the one that was like, "We're not going to sacrifice. You're all crazy. This is weird." Et cetera, et cetera. And like Eric is concussed and sort of goes along with it, has the vision that he kind of sees. They do play into that. Does he see a vision, or is it he is severely concussed and it's just like hallucinating at this point? But yeah, it felt like a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, you're right. I think the point of the movie, or for Shyamalan, I think the message he was trying to convey is like Eric's distrust of humanity based on his experiences versus Eric's more willing to take like a leap of faith, right? And that was kind of like the highlight, because for most of the movie, like 95% of the movie, Eric is like, this is bullshit. You know, humanity, even if it's real, humanity doesn't deserve to live. You know, it takes Eric's sort of like things can be good, and it's, you know, we can make it good.
Right.
You know,
right. Eric convinces Andrew to kill him at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
And I think one thing M. Night's always been, I think, pretty good at is figuring out what the focus of his movie is, and then that's what the movie is. So for this one, it wasn't about a twist or being ambiguous. It was presenting the situation and then having these two opposite things play off of each other.
Which they did show a little bit in the flashbacks, but
Yes.
But I feel like maybe there's like could have been one or two more just to like really emphasize the difference between them. Because you do get like the throwaway line when they're going for the adoption of Eric's like religious background, right? He like Andrew's like, I won't make fun of you if you pray. But I think that if there had been just one more thing with like he's a little bit more Eric's a little bit more spiritual, Andrew's a little bit more cold hard facts, which you get with like the attack and everything, and you see him become this a little bit more hardened. He takes self-defense classes, he gets the gun, which comes into play in the movie.
James Gunn?
James Gunn.
James Gunn.
My best title ever.
My God.
But I just feel like they could have done a little bit more with Eric in particular.
Do you think gun owners name their guns?
Probably.
Oh. Never thought about
I
that.
don't know.
I think they absolutely name their guns.
I mean, I name my cameras.
And people name their cars or vehicles.
Do you know what my car's name is?
Galvatron.
Galvatron.
What is the camera shooting you called?
The wide one is called Petunia.
Petunia?
And then my ISO one is called Letitia.
Letitia.
Did I just come up with
Letitia.
this?
What do you call my camera?
Yours is called It.
I gotta be like-
Pennywise.
Ooh.
Yeah, look into your camera. That's Pennywise. Georgie.
Hi, Georgie.
We all float down here.
You'll
Oh,
float
God.
too.
You'll float too.
Speaking of a sequel that really missed it.
It Chapter
Ooh.
2.
Not the best sequel I've ever seen.
Did make me want Chinese food though.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe it was
When they all meet back as adults, they go to like a dim sum
right.
Chinese.
Yeah.
But then it
demonic shit
attacks
happens.
yeah.
Real quick, so like I said at the beginning, this film is loosely based on a book called Cabin at the End of the
A
World.
book.
I just want to speed through some of the differences here, and I think the first one is important for us. So in the book, the cabin is actually in New Hampshire, not New Jersey. This feels like a personal attack on people that lived in New Hampshire. Why can't it just be New Hampshire?
Because New Hampshire's a creepy place. Oh, are you asking why couldn't the movie be in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Was the cabin in New Jersey? Because usually all of
Yeah,
M.
usually
Night's
it's
movies are in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
It was New Jersey, according to the internet.
But when when we do the flashback and we see Eric and Andrew
At the
meeting
bar?
at the parks, right? Or meeting the parents.
Yeah.
They're what? That is, I think, Philadelphia.
I'm not sure. It's a little ambiguous. Like because I didn't know. I had no idea what forest where this cabin was in the movie. I missed the context clue if there was any. And when I looked on the internet, it said it was in New Jersey.
Oh,
So
wow.
because
Okay,
the only context clue we get was the bar in Massachusetts where the attack happens.
right.
But that's it. Like that's the only of all the flashbacks and everything and when everything everywhere is happening. Like we don't know where
adoption
Andrew's
is.
parents
Right.
thing happens. We don't know where the adoption happens. Et cetera, et cetera.
The internet says they filmed it in New Jersey. Is it supposed to take place in New Jersey?
That when I read a couple synopses, they said it said New Jersey. So, but maybe they're also assuming because it was filmed in New Jersey, it takes place in New Jersey.
But they never really say in the movie.
There's
It
not
sounds like.
at least from what I can remember from seeing the movie, and maybe you guys remember. There's no context as to where a cabin is.
See, I'm trying to remember what the license plate was even, but there's never
I can't
really
remember.
The
It's
only
quick.
The only license plate I remember seeing is when they at the very end of the movie they get Redmond's truck. It's a Massachusetts plate.
Which makes sense. He's from Mass.
Right. But all the intruders are one's from Mass,
Different
one's from
places.
California, one's from
Somewhere in the middle of the country. Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago. Leonard's from Chicago.
Yeah, and then some other spot. So some other differences specifically with the intruders. So Redmond, how they die. Redmond, he dies the same way. Adrian dies second, but Andrew kills her.
She died in the book. She dies like when he's trying to get the gun. He shoots her.
Then Leonard, he actually dies third in the book and is killed by Sabrina. Any specifics there, or just accident?
It doesn't. When I was reading, it didn't say if it was like a sacrifice, like he was the third to be sacrificed,
I would
or she killed him.
I would
but
assume a sacrifice.
It did, but it did say in the book, in the synopsis that I read, Sabrina because we haven't gotten to it yet. But when Andrew gets the gun, the kid actually dies
in the book.
in the book because
Oh.
Andrew kills Adrian, and then Leonard fights Andrew to get the gun, and then the gun goes off and kills Wen. This devastates Leonard. He lets himself get tied up by Andrew and Eric. Adrian then is like, this is too much for me. I'm going against it. It says then Leonard is killed by Sabrina, and I would assume Sabrina kills him like
Sacrifice style?
yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't say. And then she leads them to the car, and then she commits suicide. And that's the difference. So in the movie, Sabrina just gets shot by Andrew.
Right.
She runs away after she stabs him, and then comes back and he shoots her. And then Leonard slits his own throat.
Right.
In the movie.
Well, yeah. Which that shot was interesting because they're not. The nice thing with this movie is they're not actually showing you these things. It's kind of off screen. With this one, they kind of just cut his head off. But when they're like zooming in, it's like they're zooming in on his biceps.
How many times do you think he pumped that morning?
He pumped a lot. He pumped
Did a lot of push-ups
between every
for
take.
that.
Do a pump.
Did you guys find it interesting there are no ants on the food outside after a full day?
That's your takeaway with this film.
Well, it's just interesting, right? So Sahara pointed out to me on the drive home. She's like, "There's no way in the woods of food sitting outside there wouldn't be ants on it." And so I surmised, I'm like, is that part of the apocalypse? Like some of the ecological things going on, like all the ants are dead or something, or like the earthquakes and the lightning bolts and all that.
Wait,
stuff.
what
Like,
food was outside?
So if you remember in the very beginning of the movie, Wen comes out and she runs out to her dad's on the outside, and they're eating outside. There's food, and even when you see Leonard, the like food is still there. They haven't cleaned it up. There's no ants on it though.
Gotcha.
Maybe
Also,
all
it
the
could just
bugs,
be
like,
an oversight.
yeah.
Or
There's
it
no
could-
ants in New Jersey.
Or
That's
it
how we know.
proves they're in a simulation.
Anyway, some other big differences. So obviously, like Wen being killed in the book drastically kind of changes how the dads look at everything and basically decide humanity isn't worth saving. Essentially,
Essentially, I think Eric like similar to the movie, contemplates should I do this, but Andrew's like if he's like I don't want to live in a world where God doesn't God decides essentially that when sacrifice isn't enough, right? Because it's a dark time, and so they just decide to neither of them will die, and they'll just kind of go
wander
on.
the earth forever.
And the apocalypse
happens.
fully happens in the book.
And then this one's actually kind of interesting. So it looks like in the book, the deaths of the four horsemen truce doesn't unleash a plague. Redmond's actually delays it.
Yeah. So in the book, it specifically emphasizes that like when one of them, like Redmond specifically, when he dies, delays it for a day, which is why they're able to like sleep till the next day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and those are the
like the big
big
main
ones.
talking
Yeah.
points that are different. Yeah, crazy. I mean, obviously, it's never. I mean, like when things are adapted, like The Last of Us video game to TV show.
Sure.
People are always going to find that like one thing to like riot over. How come nobody's rioting over these differences between book and movie?
people don't read the book.
Interesting.
It's true.
Well, then what about Lord of the Rings? Those are books, and people really, really got upset.
Yeah, those are nut jobs.
Fruitcakes,
Oh, wow.
perhaps.
Religious fruitcakes of Lord of the Rings.
I'm glad they didn't kill Wen off in the movie.
Same.
I think like I actually think the character of Wen was refreshing because I feel like in most movies a little kid is always like this annoying little brat, and she was actually like smart and intelligent and did things like she tries to escape. She tries to escape. She gets her dad like a knife to cut the rope. You know what I mean? She like acts bratty when like needed to for like the signal and whatever. So I was like, this is kind of nice. Like she does get caught, but like she's 8 years old,
competent child
going against Dave Bautista. So I don't fault her for that.
I mean, the dude's massive.
Yes,
I think
I
that's,
mean, yeah, it's like how like in most things, like kids are responsible for causing the issues and the problems because they're stupid. In this, she was like she warned them that these four people were coming, and she was like very competent.
I think that's one thing other than the twist that Shyamalan should be known for, or maybe even is known for, is he's great with kids.
yeah.
All of his
Science.
movies have kids in them.
Sixth Sense.
That
Most
are-
of them,
are
and they're
smart.
all phenomenally
Yeah.
well directed.
Yeah.
Signs especially, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like they feel realistic versus
so then
like
what-
so many other movies where it's just like wow.
Wait, so then what happened with Avatar?
Or after.
I never saw Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
I would say that the kids were no worse than the movie.
oh boy,
That's fair, I guess.
for Avatar?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So it's an interesting time for this movie to come out. It's coming out at the beginning of February, the month of
Just
love.
in time for Valentine's
Just in time
Day.
for that. I would argue that this movie is a romantic film for couples, mainly because I saw this with Lauren, Sahara, and Arjuna, and as the movie and the credits were rolling up, Sahara leans over to Arjuna and says, "So would you kill me to save the world?" And you know what? That is what I think a lot of couples are going to be asking after they see this film.
Sure.
They're going to turn to their significant other and say, "Would you kill me or be killed to save humanity?" So
wow.
I want to ask you guys the big question: do you feel humanity right now is worth saving if you had to sacrifice your significant other or yourself?
I would say no for humanity, but then like if it includes like family and friends and people like I actually care
It
about
does.
and know.
But
Oh,
it
It
Yeah,
certainly
that's what
does.
I'm
We're
that's what I'm
all
saying.
very human.
So for that reason, I would do that. I wouldn't kill my partner. I wouldn't kill Sahara.
Right.
But I would let myself be killed if needed.
I think majority of the people would say I'd let myself go. I would. I wouldn't. I'd be kind of curious to wander the earth for all eternity and hear the screams of humanity.
I think, yeah. I think I'm with Ravi.
Wow.
I am as well.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, shit,
I
no.
feel-
Seriously.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people who would say I would sacrifice myself in the moment are just lying, or they. I'm not saying that's true for you, Juno. By the way, I just think a lot of people who say that don't in the moment would choose something different. But I agree. I think wandering the earth for a little while before you inevitably die yourself, could be kind of interesting.
Kind of fun.
Seems boring.
And then we,
It
and then
seems
everyone would
better
be
than
dead, so.
murdering somebody you love.
That's why I wouldn't do
Or
that.
getting
I couldn't do
killed
the murder.
by
Yeah.
Because then I would be like, well, this sucks.
Yep.
But would you force your significant other to murder you?
Because that's also pretty horrific.
It
too.
is horrific.
Yeah.
But if
But
it
you're
means,
dead, so you
but
don't
if
have
it
to
means they
deal
get
with
to
the
I mean, there's also
consequences.
the child aspect of it too,
That's
right?
true,
With
yeah.
I think like in thinking of like, can like Sahara and my child in this theoretical world like continue to live? Then yeah, I would do it. And I'd be like,
Sure.
Sahara, I hope you're strong enough to get therapy
To get
and figure this all out.
There was I think Discussion Film had an article that came out about this film, and it ends with like, I really hope Wen and Eric, or Wen and Andrew get some really, really good therapy.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Like they do show that little brief, Eric's flash forward of like them being happy, but also a lot of electric cars in that.
Yes, tons of electric cars.
It almost looked like it was shot like a car commercial, like
Probably.
the glean. And
Probably
everything.
was.
I
I
like,
mean,
car commercial.
Fun fact: this film is banned in states like Texas and Florida because they're very much against electric
Oh my
cars.
god! But yeah,
Fuck Florida.
So they're obviously happy there, but like their lives probably aren't great.
I would
Really?
think Wen would eventually, with a lot of
Their
therapy,
lives look great.
be able to like kind of get over it. But like Eric being the one that actually,
Or Andrew.
being the one that actually had to murder
Eric.
I don't know if you ever get over that.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
So
I will say the choice, it does become different if you have kids, right?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
why the character of Wen is very important for the movie. Because if you don't have kids, you're like you're willing to be more selfish.
Right.
You'd be like,
Sure.
oh, what do I want? But if you have kids, you're
It
like,
also-
okay, what's best for the kid?
right, and it also especially when dying in the book, I think it makes perfect sense why it would be like, fuck
Yeah.
humanity at that point.
Fuck humanity, right?
Yeah.
We have nothing to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck 'em.
exactly.
Fuck 'em.
Right, it changes the entire scope of the movie.
Yeah.
Sounds like you
That
make
is
the
interesting.
kid do it, preparing for the dark future that lies ahead. Clearly, this isn't the last.
If this
time.
was M. Night in 2002, if this was M. Night earlier in his career, how different is this movie?
Ooh.
I think it's a little bit longer, and it plays more on the idea of what is actually real and what is just like a coincidence.
I think earlier in his career he was a little bit more cynical, right? Like as he's gotten a little older, I feel like he's mellowed out a little bit more. But like I feel like earlier in those movies,
I don't know if
like,
that's true.
interesting.
Because look at how Signs ended.
yeah.
Look at how The Sixth Sense ended.
Yeah, but that was
Like,
all before.
those are
Oh, no, no.
all.
No, this is a good thing to bring up. So, Lady in the Water, he made as a story. It was a story to his children. And if you look at when Lady in the Water came out, and like that's the middle point. Those early movies, Signs, The Village, Sixth Sense, more cynical than what he's put out since.
Science?
then.
How is science cynical?
The world basically.
not.
A lot
It's-
of people die.
No,
The
Science is
he
about
gets
a
his
man
faith
regaining
back.
faith. Yeah.
He gets his faith back, like Merle swings away. Like, no, Science is actually like ends on a very hopeful note. Like, Science could have ended so, poorly in terms of optimism. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think he's always been pretty
Cynical.
like good
Hopeful.
Good things can happen.
It is interesting that he changed the book ending, that he saved the world in his movie, and the book, the
Doesn't.
world doesn't.
Well, I think going back to Michael, the point you made of like his relationship with kids in his movies, like I think that was probably just a step too far for him, like,
Yeah.
to kill a kid.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
I mean, that should be always, in my opinion, like that should always be the Hollywood standard. Is like you don't do like we already have enough nut jobs already
Yeah.
doing shit. Like don't don't do that. That's dumb. Like,
There was
keep
a-
it
There,
elsewhere.
yeah. There's just like things you just don't want to like
Yeah, you just
see
don't do.
or relive in,
Yep.
in cinema.
And if I
sometimes.
ever hear the stupid term of, oh, it's for the art, fuck off. Like,
Oh, man.
fuck off.
It's for the art. That's what Will Smith said after he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. It's for the art.
Wait,
Don't
he
get me
did?
started. The Academy's
he
bunch
say
of
that?
fucking asswives.
No, it was just it was a poorly timed
Oh, it's a joke?
That was a good joke, though.
Oh,
We
I-
are
I-
about poorly timed jokes.
I could see it. I could see him saying something stupid like that.
Speaking of Will Smith, he just announced Bad Boys 4.
I'm excited. I've never seen any of the
Bad
other
Boys
Bad
3
Boys.
sucked.
You've never seen
Wait,
the
Bad
other
Boys for
Boys?
Life? You didn't like
Huh?
it, Christian?
The third one.
The one that just came out a few years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Oh, I liked it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You didn't like Triple Frontier, but you like Bad Boys 3.
I think Arjun's a Will Smith stan.
No, it was just it was a fun throwback of an action movie.
Ugh.
It reminded me of like Rush Hour, honestly.
When's
It-
Rush Hour 4 coming out?
Who
Never.
knows?
No, didn't they announce they're going to do a 4?
It's been saying it for like a decade.
Yeah,
plus.
it's been a long, long time. And
I mean-
Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, unfortunately, they're getting old.
Put this into context. Rush Hour 3 came out in 2007.
Yep.
16 years ago.
Some would
Damn. At this
some would
rate,
say-
they're not going to be in Rush Hour 4.
Nope, not at this rate.
It'll be Rush Hour like retirement home.
Yeah, actually, I mean, like seeing a Rush Hour movie where they're both geriatric could be hilarious. Like, we got to solve one last case, you know?
They did that TV show a few years ago though, like on TBS or TNT or something. One of those channels.
Wait, like a Rush Hour TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With them or?
No.
Like other actors.
And did it get canceled because?
I think after like 1 or 2 seasons.
There you go.
Yeah.
That makes
it
a lot
wasn't
of sense.
popular.
It's not going to work without those two.
All right, I think it's time to ask that big question here because I
Should
don't-
Dave Bautista be nominated for a actor an Oscar?
Actually, real quick, speaking about Dave Bautista, Christian, I know now that you're a stan of his, so you'll love this. He was recently on the Late Show with Gordon,
James Corden.
And James asked him, like, what genre of film have you yet to want? Like, what genre do you want to still explore? And he's like, for some reason, I keep trying getting to rom-coms, and I keep getting like,
This is actually heartbreakingly sad.
yeah.
He's
so,
like, am I just ugly?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
So, I will say, I think there should be a campaign started to get him into a rom-com
so.
because I think it'd be amazing.
Who should be his like his opposite?
So a rom-com doesn't have to just be about, obviously, like, a couple or like a traditional love story, whatever. It could be something like John Wick and his dog, which
That is a rom com.
I consider it a rom-com.
Well, it's more of a rom-dram.
Rom violence.
That's a straight action movie.
No,
There is a
rom-com.
romantic element between
revenge
him and
story.
his dog.
There
Yeah.
should not
yeah,
have
John
been
Wick is a revenge
no
action
romance
movie.
between dog and man.
Yeah. That's
But-
one line. That's another line Hollywood should not cross.
Bestiality.
God damn
Let's
it.
not do that.
But yeah, I would love to see him in a rom-com. I think that should be his next
Yeah.
thing. So
Rom coms
hopefully-
are all about chemistry, so
Yeah.
if you can just get the right chemistry with the other lead,
Even Gerard Butler's been in a rom-com.
he's been in quite a few.
That was weird.
Quite a few rom coms Gerard Butler, that man has been in. What if Gerard Butler and Dave Bautista did a rom com together and they fall for each other?
I would pay so much money to watch that.
I would too.
I honestly don't want to see that really badly.
That would be,
That would
so,
be
and just make it like also like a
Action.
typical action
Yeah.
movie, but with a rom-com
They're
element.
like rival. I got it right. They're like rival agents at like rival agencies, and they're like enemies, but they like keep falling for each other, and they have to go against each other. But like the climax is them coming together and being together instead of fighting each other.
Right, because their agencies disown both of them
Yeah.
because their love is forbidden.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, but with
Only with
agencies.
You know, they say Hot Fuzz was written like a rom-com. If you want to get an idea of what that would look like.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Hey guys, I figured out our next writing project.
Boom, let's do it.
Dave Bautista's rom-com with
Dave
Gerard
Bautista,
Butler.
With
Gerard
Gerard
Butler,
Butler, yeah.
rom com. Who's
They-
gonna
and
be?
then they can the final credits is that song Genghis Khan, but it's with
Oh,
Gerard
yeah.
Butler
Yep.
and Dave Bautista doing the dance number.
Boom.
And then you gotta have like old like action stars be the directors, right? So you
Sylvester
need
Stallone.
like a Sylvester Stallone and Harrison Ford.
What?
You want to have Arnold in there?
Arnold will cameo as
You're
the
just making
president
Expendables 5 at this
of the
point.
United States.
No, Arnold could be like the weird old friend or whatever one of the characters.
He's the third.
He's the one that's like pushing them
No.
together, like you're meant to
No.
be.
He's the ex-husband.
Arnold,
He needs to be a
Arnold is
foil.
the head of one of the agencies.
No, I like
Oh,
I like the
yeah.
idea of like Arnold being like, you know, in like a rom com, there's always that friend that's like, oh, you guys are meant to be, and like helps you get set up. That should be Arnold's role in this, but like through like a military.
Come on, Gerard. Dave is such a good man.
Get down. Go down again.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Down the guns. Love each other. Love each other. Put it down.
Okay, you gotta stop.
All right. Anyway, Knock at the Cabin. Arjuna, was it good?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was good. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. It's not M. Night's best. It's not his worst. But he's been on like he's like swinging for average right now, if that makes sense, right? Like if you look at his career, right, he started with some like real classics, then he was in the real doldrums, then he kind of came back up, and now he's like averaged out, where he's making like movies that are not horrible, not bad, but they're like, as Michael said on our car ride, like an A-list movie, right? You got a Thursday night, you're like, oh, let me go check out this movie, I'm going to go see it. Did I, enjoy most of it? Yeah, I did, but will I ever watch it again? Probably not.
That's always so weird when, like, for me, a big qualifier is if you're gonna watch it again, like helps determine if it's good or not, because it means it was good to the point where like you care to see it again.
Not always. Like if it's a really good horror movie, like I don't like horror movies, but if it's a really good horror movie, part of it being good is I never want to watch it again because it's so horrific.
That's just a bad movie.
Like no, like scary. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like horrifically scary, where like I can't sleep
For days.
Like that's how I feel about the like original Alien movie. Like,
Really?
it's
That's not scary anymore.
Well, when I watched it as a kid,
Mom and Dad did
it
not let
was
you watch
really
Alien
scary.
as a
I
scary.
saw it on the television. Okay.
So then you didn't even see like the good version. You saw like the TV
it
edited
was,
version.
It was still scary to 7-year-old Arjuna.
commercials.
So an alien pops out, then it goes to Tide Pods or Tide Tide laundry detergent.
Yeah, Tide Pods did not exist in 1999.
Did they not?
Well, at least they weren't commercialized, as I remember it.
The military was the military product.
Probably. Krishna, was Knock at the Cabin good?
Yeah, it was great. I will watch it
Great.
again. I thought the sound design was great. The tension was awesome. I actually want to do a rewatch in a couple of months to see if there are any elements that I missed. And actually, I kind of ranked out all of his movies. I think, in my opinion, this is his fifth best movie.
Ooh, what's 4 through 1?
So number one, I'm gonna go with Signs, then Unbreakable, then Split, then Sixth Sense, then this.
Where would you put The Village? 6th?
I didn't like Village, but yeah, it's probably somewhere in that
You should. When was the last
6
time?
to 8 range.
When was the last time you watched The Village?
Over 10 years.
I
ago.
would highly recommend you rewatch it as an older adult.
as a
older
geriatric
man?
fuck.
Yeah, just because you'll look at it through a very different lens.
Well, the one M. Night movie I haven't seen that I really do want to see
The
is
Happening?
The Visit,
I have
The
seen that
Visit.
one.
What
which
the
I've
fuck is
heard
The
people
Visit?
like. That's the one that
The
he
kids
did-
go see their
The
grandparents.
kids go see their grandparents.
Oh, that one. I forget that one because it. Yeah, I legitimately forget that.
People
film.
really like that
It was
one.
it was actually pretty freaky.
Yeah, that's what
I
I've
never
heard.
saw it.
Super
I
scary, and I
wanna
like
s-
the allegory.
I want to see it. It's one of his more. It's like it was in that career lull for him, and that was like the one he did before Split, I believe, which was his big comeback, quote unquote. But yeah,
Wow. Okay, yeah. I didn't even know that movie existed.
wow. And you call yourself an M. Night Shyamalan super fan?
I don't.
What?
Ravi.
Hello.
Was Knock at the Cabin good?
After much discussion and sitting here for an hour with you fools
Fools.
and talking about Dave Bautista and Gerard Butler in a rom-com, my views have changed drastically. Therefore, I'm going to go with my original thought on this film, which is, yes, it was good.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say no. I put no.
No, even though like it's not by no means it's his best. I think still it picks up on like common day like discussions and themes and things that's happening in the real world, and plays with this idea of, you know, religion and the apocalypse, and like it tells an interesting and nice new story that I'm not familiar with. And it doesn't end in a way where you're like, oh, I was tricked, or like it comes across as like dumb or stupid. It comes across as like, wow, very intense, tiring experience, which, you know, means that you're going to think about for a while and you don't want to eventually watch it again. So good stuff.
Wow.
Hell
Wow, 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 wow.
Thank you.
I am chicken right now. I was just trying to use my one-word impression.
No, you're a fruitcake.
I'm science.
Junior, you're a vegetarian, so you can't be chicken. You're
You know, have you guys ever had veggie chicken from like Veggie Grill or something? Oh man, I really want Veggie Grill.
Veggie Grill is gross.
No, it's not.
It goes right through you. That
This
is so
maybe
many,
for you.
I'm also with
so
Robbie.
many chemicals in that thing, and sauces galore
delicious.
and sugar.
Veggie Grill's great.
It's disgusting.
It's great. It's my McDonald's. Okay. What are you
No,
gonna do?
your McDonald's is McDonald's.
No, I don't like McDonald's.
You
I don't really eat anything from McDonald's except breakfast food.
Fish
which
fillet.
I don't like
Fish
fish
fillet.
fillets that much.
Why?
They're not good.
They're delicious.
They're overrated.
fillets are
They're the
incredible.
most overrated fast food out there.
Christian, I think
You shut your mouth.
Christian, I think I found the clip that we should put on the internet.
The bun is
Oh, there's a
sugary.
few.
The fish is disgusting,
How's the bun sugary?
and the tartar sauce is disgusting.
It's divine.
No, it's not.
It coats the crispy, perfectly.
It's not crispy ever. It's
fish
always soggy.
fillet.
It's disgusting.
It's so-
the fish is probably 5 years old and probably contains like 2% fish.
So?
It's definitely frozen though, so it's
Wait,
fine.
hold on. Arjuna. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Arjuna, just so everyone's aware, Arjuna's a pescatarian, so he's a pest.
I like good fish. I don't like shit
so
fish.
he's a pest. He's a pest. But let me guess right. You like good fish, and you like your meats, the meats that you eat, to be real. But then at the same time, you like Veggie Grill and Veggie Chicken.
Yeah.
It's fake fucking chicken.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like.
exactly.
I told. It's better than a fish fillet at McDonald's for me.
I highly disagree.
We're doing a taste test, a blind taste test.
Blind. You'll
You
never
won't
know
be
the
able to
difference.
tell the difference.
Chicken or not chicken? Now I want McDonald's.
Yeah, I want my fucking McDonald's.
Yeah,
God
I want
damn
McDonald's
it.
too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get it.
Veggie
I'm
Grill.
getting that for dinner. Thanks, Tuna.
We
Oh,
just missed
I'm also gonna
breakfast,
get
so-
some veggie grill. and
That's
burn
all
it.
right. A
Okay,
cheeseburger and fries would be good.
Here's my other rant for this podcast.
Oh my god,
McDonald's, bring back fucking all day breakfast.
it's too complicated.
No, it's not.
The machines have to be.
They're
turned
liars.
on.
I hate them.
With that, we're just going to end it here. Thank you for listening. As always, you can find these podcasts in full on youtube.com/wasitgood. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at wasitgoodpod, and check us out on Twitter at wasitgood. We're actually going to take off next week because one of us still likes to work for some stupid reason. And
Who is it?
Yes.
We'll let you guess which
Who
one.
is
Put it in the
it?
comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments who's still working.
I work for McDonald's.
That's why you just
That
shitted
could be
all
a
of them.
red herring.
But we are taking next week off. We'll be back the following week to review and give our crazy thoughts on Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Quantumania.
Quantum.
Till then, peace.